Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Late Night Interview with me, your host, Max Asanovich. Tonight, we're delighted to bring you two interviews with No Doubt, who are, of course, currently touring over here as we speak. Although they sound like a recent phenomena, they've actually been together for 10 years now, and having found fame, of course, with the release of Tragic Kingdom, which was actually their third album. They cite their influences as The Specials and Madness, and there's even talk at the moment that they'll be contributing a track to a Jam tribute album, which I thoroughly look forward to hearing. The band originally hailed from Orange County in California, which in recent years has also given us The Offspring, Social Distortion, and The Vandals, and consists of Tom Dumont on guitar, bassist Tony Cannell, drummer Adrian Young, and the delightfully svelte Gwen Stefani on vocals. Gwen, of course, has been romantically linked with our own Gavin Rossdale, the frontman with Bush, and although she's desperately keen to play this liaison down, the music press, not too surprisingly perhaps, seem very reluctant to let it go. I recently saw No Doubt at Wembley Arena, and let me tell you, this girl can really sing. And with their album, Tragic Kingdom, having now spent almost 2 years on the American charts, I think it's safe to assume that No Doubt will be with us for some time to come. We have 2 interviews for you tonight, both conducted within the last 12 months, that I hope will give you some insight into what makes the band tick. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our late night interview with No Doubt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what were you doing in the studio?
We actually were doing this compilation album, right? And what was it called again?
It's called, Tom, you go ahead and say
It's for the Surfrider Foundation,
right.
And we're just
Clean up the
contributing
oceans.
a song, and it's an organization based in Orange County, and they're all about cleaning the oceans for surfers and for everyone, everywhere. And
Right.
for
You don't
fish.
step on like dirty needles when you're swimming and surfing, you know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that
Have you
happens
done
to
that?
me all the time.
Exactly.
Lay down in a tied-up used condom that someone left over from the night before.
You guys are making it sound a lot worse than it is. It's only industrial waste and sewage that are going in the
That's
sea.
happened to you before.
We were talking about it, and we were talking about how swimming in the ocean in Orange County is kind of like swimming in my backyard pool with Adrian Young, our drummer, because he openly admits that he pees, frequently in pools.
It's a reflex action. As soon as
Right.
he jumps in, whee, tinkle, tinkle.
And I also understand you have another immature practice of giving people the turkey.
Oh, geez.
What's that all about?
Immature.
That's another thing that article blew out of proportion. It's true that it did happen, but I sort of look like a bad person. I'm really not.
He says, with hair horns coming out of his head. Adrian, you are the devil. Yeah, that's right. Tom says you're the dark side. Well, that's okay, So, Orange County, I don't know about you, but I was pretty bored growing up in Orange County. I was real spoiled, though. I lived at the beach.
Right.
Like Newport and Laguna.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then I moved to Arizona and I went, whoa, I guess that was pretty cool back there.
That would happen if you moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's one of the reasons that the music scene there has been so great lately, the last 5 or 6 years or so.
People grew up and got grateful.
There's tons of people that there's nothing else to do but go to shows and watch your favorite band, like us or all the other bands down there.
Right, which is I'm sure what you guys used to do.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Orange County, for the most part, has a bad name, but everybody's the same. There really isn't any borders anymore. You know what I mean? Everything just blends into each other.
I think it's probably more the same than it was 20 years or 30 years ago. It was like way lily white.
30 years ago, is that when you were growing up there?
Yeah, in the 60s, actually. Wow. Yeah, I used to see, I wasn't old enough to get into the Rendezvous where Dick Dale used to play down in Balboa, but like all my older friends were. And it was a time when, guys used to show up in their hot cars and honk their horns for their dates to come out of the house. And,
we still do that.
People wore their hair greased back, and white T-shirts with the cigarettes under the white sleeves.
I think those guys are in Social Distortion now.
Yes,
I think that's right. Okay, now let's talk about oral hygiene. What do you do? Do you guys really brush your teeth every night. This is not a room where I'm trying to
something over
confirm.
here?
No. I just made sure I brushed my teeth here before you guys came in. Does everybody floss in the band?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not as often as I'd like to.
Yeah. Well, there's an honest answer from Adrian right there.
Well, my teeth seem to get dirty. I just have them removed. Just take, Last Wednesday I went in and got my wisdom teeth pulled out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was the sign? Or you were just mad one day?
I was just like, I have too many teeth. I want to get rid of some of them. And went in there and got them taken out.
Now there's more room for the other ones to party in your mouth.
Exactly.
Well, that's good. I don't know. I think my oral hygiene's been a lot better since I quit doing heroin
Right.
6 or 8 years ago.
You were ingesting, you were taking heroin orally?
No, no. But when you're a junkie, your hygiene in general just goes to hell. It's just, junkies think things like you get higher if you don't take a shower for 3 days, and just insane things
Right.
that you use to justify your behavior. But no. And if I could pass something on to the youth of today, it would be, don't do like I did. Please floss every day, all the way through your whole life.
That is good advice.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Tammy is in here, and Gabriel and Steve, will you hold her while Gwen beats her up?
No, look what she gave me. She gave me this adorable little polka dot, what do we call this? Halter top.
You wear enough of them, you got to know what they're called.
Well, I don't know what the technical term is, but but it's adorable, and that is so sweet. After I called you a moron, I mean, come on.
Why don't you explain what you're talking about?
All right. What happened was I'm having this really in-depth conversation with this guy from Details Magazine, who was actually amazingly sweet, and we talked for about 3 hours, and I think I was a little PMS, and I was getting really emotional and stuff. And we were talking, first of all, the dork part was we were talking about how some little girls that were like, I don't know, 13 or 14 came up to me and they're like, how could you be on K-Rock, man? You're our band and that's so uncool. Those guys are just a bunch of dorks and blah, blah, blah. Because they were like, 13 years old. I'm like, well, how old were you when our band started? We were, 8 or whatever. I'm like, you're so punk or whatever. So I was like explaining to him that I love Jed the Fish, even though some people may put us down for after 9 years finally having a little success, and that was the context of that statement.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have success.
Right.
You're supposed to stay poor and unknown.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah. How dare you?
Exactly.
How dare you enjoy your life?
So see how that works? Only because someone else had called him a dork, but I told Jed at Christmas that he's my favorite DJ and I love him. You know what I mean? I told you that, and I meant it, because when I'm really genuine and I just say what I feel, I really do. Because I'm just a dork from Anaheim. I don't know anything. So okay, and then Tammy. Well, it didn't have anything to do with Tammy, but I feel like I'm really spilling my guts right now. But
wait, is that the real title of the song? Just a dork?
Right. The record company made me change it.
Damn now. Damn all.
I know. What was the next part though?
All
This was
DJs
the
are
part,
idiots.
right? Because they were asking, is it really fun now that this is all happening? I was saying, yeah, it's been amazing, but we've been to a lot of stations around the country, and a lot of times I'll walk in, and because I am a female, I'll walk in, and first thing they ask me is, oh, so who are you sleeping with in the band? Like, that's a question they'll ask on the air, or, it's customary here at this station that we have all the female artists show us their breasts, like rude statements like that. And that's happened to me several times, and we were talking about that, and that's when I made that quote that they quoted me on. So, I mean, it's really, I don't know. That's
what was
where
the
I came
quote? What was the
All
quote?
DJs are idiots.
All DJs
and
are...
morons, remember?
No, that must have been a different interview.
Morons. Okay, well,
There's so many so many different things.
seriously, that's why I was so upset, because if you only knew what I was talking about, in the first place,
Do you
is
want
that
us to kick their ass? I mean, what do you want?
no, I just don't, I don't know, I don't want anyone to get hurt in any way, ever,
You're going to have to make us more cookies.
My feelings were hurt.
I know. How am I going to make cookies in the bus, though? I just don't understand. We don't have an oven. We have a microwave I could get. That would take a long time.
Don't do it.
That's okay.
That's all right.
That's all right, Gwen.
That's all right.
Anyway, so God, I feel so much better. I don't know if you do, but whew.
That's all right. We love you too.
We love you guys, too. I mean, damn.
But how unhip could you get? We get to love you, but you don't get to love us.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't care. I'm over it. I'm past that stage.
That's right. I was talking to Trent Reznor about that, and what about all these people that think you're, uncool and selling out by doing this and that? And he goes, screw them. Oh, he didn't say screw them.
Right.
He said use the F word.
He used that word.
Yeah.
That's
so I mean, it just happens. Well, because I've seen it happen to myself. Actually, you sort of discover a band and nobody tells you about them. You didn't hear about it on the radio. You found out it from your little sources, and then you buy their records and you love that band, and all of a sudden everyone else finds out about it, and somehow I don't know what it is. Just everyone else knowing about it seems to devalue the artist. And I can't put my finger on it. I think everybody just likes to get proprietary with these things. And, this is my own private band, and how dare they be successful. It's a weird thing.
I used to be that way, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. I admit it. And
yeah, so
I grew up, so I'm...
Can you put your finger on exactly what that is?
I think that,
can't.
It's funny because when I was really into Madness and I was in high school, and I would have their buttons on, and I would display that I was very much into this band. I'm like, yeah, this band's rad, and I would try to get people into it, but at the same time, I was like, I didn't want them to know about it. So it's just a weird, I think, teenage thing that you go through.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I think the more the merrier, I mean, we make this music, and if people can, have joy from it, that's what makes us happy and fulfilled. So I think that's what our goal is at this point.
Well, there you go. Very entertaining to watch, and they did release 100 tickets, so if you're hanging out in the neighborhood of the Palladium for the sold-out No Doubt show tonight, you may be able to pick some up, but probably by showtime, they'll be gone. Okay, what I was noticing is all the layers of vocals on the album. I mean, your voice is everywhere on that.
We did a lot of layering, which was kind of like a thread we used throughout the record. We did it with Matthew Wilder, Break My Stride, 80s King. So it was kind of his idea, and I think it worked really good. It was really fun to do, actually. So at first I was kind of like, wow, that sounds really big and slick and huge, and it scared me at first, but then I got really into it. Kind of overdid it on some of the songs, but.
So what we're talking about is there are background harmonies that where most groups would use a keyboard or something like that, you would come in and sing with yourself and do these multi-layered harmonies.
Yeah.
And so there must be like 1,050 Gwen tracks on these masters.
We would do we would fill the whole board up with these tracks, right? And then we would dub them down to a sampler, and then just because there's not enough tracks, you have to put it down to a sampler and then fly it back in. It was amazing how we did it, and it took a lot of time, but it was a lot of fun too. So
you can almost do dub versions of your songs with all the background vocals.
I wouldn't mind having a version of Tragic Kingdom just only background vocals. That would make me really happy.
Seriously, you could, and you could go in and have who's the guy who does Dub Syndicate? Adrian Sherwood and those dub mixer guys over in England.
Yeah.
Just turn them loose with it and see what they come up with.
See what happens. Yeah, that would be amazing.
The only rule is you have to use all the background vocals.
And they have to be really loud in the mix.
Yeah. No Doubt are performing sold-out shows at the Palladium tonight and tomorrow night, and getting ready to tour for just about the rest of the year. Tony, it seems like you guys were just a local band for, the last 8 years or something?
It's funny because we've been around for 9 years, and we didn't really get to do a lot of touring, a lot of extensive touring. We've got to do, a couple of national tours, but starting last August, we've been out on the road since then. So we plan on being out this whole year.
So before the album came out, you did do national tours?
We did when our first record came out in 1992. We went out a few times then.
Which bands were you with?
Wow, on that tour, I mean, we've played with a lot of different bands. On that tour, we went out with Fishbone for a couple shows. We actually played a couple shows with Public Enemy, which was a treat.
I'm assuming you...
Pato Banton and Specials when they got back together back then in 1992. Special Beat.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember
that?
A
lot of pot backstage at Irvine Meadows.
We wouldn't know.
Well, that's good. It stays in your brain, by the way, THC.
Right.
It stays there for quite a while.
Another random...
drug comment. Random drug comment.
So that echinacea is a myth.
I don't know about that. But But for the longest time, you were just an Orange County band, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're from Orange County, unfortunately, there's not a lot of places to play in Orange County.
Did you play
Places-
Goodies?
We did a surprise show, and it was at
Yeah.
That's when it was all ages for those Sunday nights.
But for the
Yeah.
most part, there's not a lot of great places that have survived in Orange County. The city's managed to close
Played
down
that-
these great places that.
Cuckoo's Nest?
No,
Nope.
no. I think if you're from Orange County, you have to venture out and play Hollywood and Los Angeles and Long Beach and San Diego and Santa Barbara, and you just kind of become a Southern California band. That's what we consider ourselves now. Although we are proud of the fact that we are from Anaheim and Orange County.
That's right. That's right. You can tell by the album cover. You know what? It was kind of sad what happened to all the orange groves, huh? That's what I got when I was looking at that, because I've always been saddened by that, because my families have lived in Orange County, and I remember when it was all orange groves, and now, if they're even there, they are rotten.
What happened? You guys added on Orange County to your little thing.
That was just a phase we were going through. We got rid of it
Oh, is it over now?
about an hour ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. They put Orange County on it,
I don't know. I guess we decided it was a bad idea.
So you really got rid of it?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
All right. Maybe we'll bring it back. I don't know. But anyway.
For so long, though?
Sorry. Here, turn up his mic. We can't hear Tom.
Check.
All right.
The thing that kept us going for so long is the fact that we had a great following in Orange County. Those people supported us for many years.
Right.
And even though we were having various troubles throughout our career with all kinds of different problems, we always had great shows to play, and we had a great group of fans to support us, and that made...
That's what I've noticed. I'm
what
glad
made
you
us
said
laugh.
that. I'm glad you said that, because for years, I felt kind of bad, because people would call up and they'd say, play No Doubt, and I'd go, well, there's nothing to play. And they go, well, we'll send you a demo. And, and then I never got the demo. But you had your fans calling for years and years and years
That's so cool.
to play No Doubt
That
here.
was me calling. I did do that,
You did?
Even when Just a Girl came out, I felt like it was my, responsibility to sit by the phone and say, play
I
Just a
called
Girl.
many times and changed my name and
Right.
age.
I'm like,
Doing our research.
oh my God, I got through, because I really couldn't believe I got through. Oh, can you play Just a Girl, please? Okay, yeah, we'll play it. What's your name? Glenn. I admit it. I don't care.
All right, Surfrider Foundation.
Yeah.
So we recorded the song yesterday. It's a Bad Brain song that we've covered for many, many years. And actually, live we play it a little bit more reggae dub style, but I think the guys are going to play it for you a little faster right now.
Album comes
closer to the original. It comes out actually really soon, like a month and a half or something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of cool bands.
A lot of great bands on it.
Sublime.
And Pearl Jam and the Beastie Boys and
The whole
Helmet.
thing is just trying to save our oceans.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about while you're here?
Don't stab your friends with forks in their eyes.
Oh, no. Spoons, even spoons in the eyes.
Totally.
Don't even kid about that. I mean, it's just not behavior to do.
That's not even funny.
What? We always say
After
that.
all our friends, all the people we've known, that's happened to them.
What was the other public service message we always give?
What you already said? Don't stab anybody.
Forks, yeah.
Forks.
Treat others the way you would like to be treated back.
There you
That's a
go.
good one.
That one was too serious.
I'd like to seriously thank everybody that stood with us over the years,
Right.
and this year, and our families and friends, and just everybody who's been with us. We
Everybody
really
you don't get to
appreciate
see anymore because you're on
Exactly.
tour.
it. We saw them for a couple days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it does take a lot of patience and friendship to remain friends while something like this is going on. So, I'd like to thank them too, because you guys need friends like that. Yeah.
Let me just start off by saying that these cookies are awesome,
Oh, good. I'm glad you like
and I will eat them all within the next 15 minutes. We have in our studios the pride of Orange County, no doubt. The band is in the studios here. We got your Adrian, we got your Gwen, we got your Tom, we got your Tony. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming in so early. We appreciate it. And Gwen walks in with a basket and chocolate chip cookies.
Woohoo!
And you made them yourself.
Of
course, yeah. I think it's kind of a tradition now, 2 times.
I love that tradition.
That's a great tradition.
Me too.
We work again on Monday morning, so if you're in the area with the cookies, feel free to stop by.
I forgot to tell you guys, when Gwen wasn't looking, I put a little bit of secret sauce in there, so I hope you like that additive.
All right, well, okay, good.
It's not your secret sauce, is it, Adrian? That's my fear. I don't know how you guys have time to do anything with your schedule, because I can't turn on my television set or pick up a newspaper without seeing you're somewhere else. Is it at all slowing down for y'all, or is it every bit as crazy as it has been all year long?
We thought this weekend was going to be like a little, cool, we'll just do a little benefit for Sublime. It'll be, it turned into this huge, gigantic thing, with an hourly schedule. So, I don't know. Yeah, it does get pretty busy.
Yeah, I'll bet. You guys have been working hard. And let me just say, too, that Tom, all the other members of your band look pretty woken up. But you don't look so well.
There was this thing that happened to us on tour, and we started all sleeping till 2 and 3 in the afternoon.
Right.
Only because of jet lag and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept that going now. And
so you're actually still asleep.
This was the middle of the night for me.
Okay.
Tom actually works the graveyard shift.
Is that right?
At Hughes. So as soon as we finished practice last night, he went over there, started
restock the shelves.
Restock the shelves. And
I don't know anything about how finances work, but I think you're about ready to give up the Hughes job. If I understand the math correctly, I think that's going to be possible.
Well,
but
I signed away my publishing to the rest of the band 2 years ago.
Oh,
like
no.
$30.
So you got like a $30 loan at the time, and then,
But they're good about it. They scheduled concerts around my work schedule.
That's very nice.
What is if you can remember it, what is the most brutal schedule you've had? Have you ever had a deal where you've played 2 concerts in one day in 2 different cities, or done 10 television shows in one day? Because you've been so in demand.
I think we've done the 9 shows in 7 days.
Really?
Yeah, in
concerts,
different cities. Yeah,
really,
from city to city.
And then you were having throat problems for a little while. Is that because of overworking?
Yeah, we overworked ourselves for sure. But I remember there was a run where there was 16 days on, though, as far as photo shoots and every day a major event happened. Right. So I remember I came off stage one night and I was like, "Get the paramedics quick!"
Really?
I was totally dramatic about it.
Now, when the album came out, it's been 15 months now. Is that about right? About 15 months since the album first came out, right? You, of course, you have no idea how it's going to do. You've had other records that have come out before, and you've got a little something extra here because of some of the people you're working with, but you have no idea how it's going to do, and you don't know what the life of that record is going to be.
Mm-mm.
But even having said that, you have got to be stunned that here we are in 1997, and it's still the #1 album in America.
It's amazing because we just had our 10-year anniversary on New Year's Eve. So, I mean, just to think that we've been doing it that long, it's already mind-blowing.
One of those long overnight successes.
Exactly. But
then even 15 months later, your album, more people bought your album this past week than most.
I know, it's like total Cinderella story, unbelievable. We're totally having fun with it, too.
Yeah.
And every time you put out another record, another song, you go, okay, this has certainly got to be the one that's going to finally kill the album, right? Now it's got to be over with. And they keep asking for more. It's just amazing. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We want to come back. We got a bunch of questions for you, and we want to talk about your 2 benefits that you're doing this weekend.
Cool.
Because that is so cool, some of the people that you're helping out this weekend. And we have your friends in Sublime, Bud and Eric, who are going to join us in the next hour, too.
Yeah.
So this should be some fun. So we appreciate seeing you guys again.
Just briefly, you're doing another benefit tonight, too. What's that one all about?
Tonight is the Children's Hospital of Orange County, and actually we were thinking we were just going to do a warm-up show because we hadn't played for a while, and we were going to do a real low ticket price, just play, no big deal. And then we thought, well, why don't we do another benefit? And we wanted to do something for Orange County, so the Children's Hospital was I saw the program the night before about all these cancer kids that are just working so hard to get well, and I was like, oh God, we have to do it for that. And
isn't it kind of strange now how when you were not so well known, not so successful, it's easy to do little small projects.
Right.
Now you can't really do a little small project. When No Doubt does something, it just somehow blows up into bigger things.
I found that out this weekend.
Because you expected this weekend to be pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But we're really fortunate because now we've been empowered to be able to, help and do events like this.
Right.
And, and perhaps in the past we weren't able to put something together that easily. And so it's the least we can do.
Mm-hmm. Tony, let me ask you this, since you're talking there. Gwen mentioned a minute ago you guys just had your 10-year anniversary on New Year's Eve. Most of those years were kind of lean years for y'all, right?
We had some tough years in the beginning, but I think we've always felt fortunate. We always had good shows. We always had things that kept us going over those 10 years. So I don't think we were ever so destitute where we were like, this sucks. We always were having a good time, even though there were some lean years in there.
Even if at that time you didn't know that eventually it was all going to pay off to big success, it still was worth doing because you all were having fun.
We were always having a good time.
And it's the same lineup, the same 4 folks?
For the most part,
For all 10 years?
It's been us 4 for the last 8 years.
Wow.
So
How do you guys
for a while.
How do you guys as a band write the music? Does one of you write the lyrics? Some of you write the music? How's that work?
It's always different with each song. It's funny because usually me and Tony will team up and do, like, me and Tony wrote Spiderwebs together in his bedroom, you know, or and then me and Tom will get together and team up.
You have to wake Tom up before he...
Yeah. He's a jeller too when we're writing, that's for sure. We usually just sit there with a little tape recorder and I embarrass myself and just, you know, making up melodies and nonsense lyrics, and then I go back and listen to the demo tape for, like, I don't know, hours and hours and hours, and then just bring it after, you know, we get a song going, then we bring it to the whole band, and Adrian puts in his part.
Do you guys write a lot of songs? Are you real prolific?
No, we don't.
Here's a question, because this album has been on the charts longer than most albums ever are. I mean, did you, when this first album came out, I mean, not the first album, but the big album, when it came out, did you have in your mind a length of time that it was probably going to be there, and then you kind of have to figure out, well, now we're going to need another album after that? Have you had a whole new set of songs ready to go, but you're just holding off? Or you haven't even got to that point yet?
It's been such a long haul because this record took 3 years to make, you know, and we had millions of songs, and that's why we put out the Beacon Street collection, which was like a B-sides kind of thing. And then we never even thought this record would come out. There was so much problems going on with it. And
how long did you have the album before it came out?
I know that it took, in between the time that we finished recording and then mixing, it took how long?
6 months. It was probably finished in sometime in 1994 for the most part. And then at the last minute, we went in and they had written Spiderwebs, and we went in and recorded Spiderwebs and Excuse Me Mister right before we finished mixing. But
it's funny because with Spiderwebs, that was like the last song we wrote, and it was just, you know, didn't even think anything would happen.
Just kind of threw it in.
We actually used it as a thing where we recorded Excuse Me Mister. We recorded a different version of it, and we didn't like how it turned out, so we used Spiderwebs and said, well, if you want Spiderwebs, you have to let us re-record Excuse Me Mister.
Oh, really?
So we went back in and recorded both of those songs together, and that was like the best studio experience because we had like the whole 3 years behind us, and we kind of knew what we were doing by that point.
I bet you're really excited about what you're going to be able to do with the next record, because who can tell you what to do now?
I'm just really excited we get to make another record, you know. Yeah. I mean, I think before this one came out, I know we were all kind of going, okay.
Let's try it again.
27, maybe we should get real lives. This is kind of getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Still live at home, you know, that whole thing.
You're still living at home, aren't you, Gwen?
Yeah.
What's that like?
I am, yeah.
What is that like?
It's time, you know.
Because you're like, yeah, no kidding. I mean, you know, you're like.
Do your friends call for you? Do they have to ask your mom and stuff?
Well, it's funny because I call. Yeah, it's really weird now that I've come home and it's just weird stuff happens to me now.
I'm sure.
You know, I can't really go to the mall and those kinds of things anymore. And I have these people called trick-or-treaters, I call them. They come to my house and they just have like stacks of stuff they want me to sign. And,
oh, really?
You know, people call my mom and dad all the time, and it's pretty ridiculous.
How are your mom and dad with it? They're
cool. Fun. I mean, my mom is silly because she did an interview for some girl's paper school paper the other day, and she said, she really wants you guys to play Squeal tonight. Do you think you can do it? I'm like, Mom.
Now your mom's begging you.
Yeah.
How about the rest of you guys? What are your living arrangements like?
Well, I have no problem going to the mall. People just usually ask me for directions to, you know, Mary Callender's or something like that.
That you know, there are some advantages and disadvantages to not being the front person, and I bet Adrian, you look like half the guys at Orange County. I bet that really works for you sometimes. You can still go to the beach and just kind of enjoy it if you want.
Oh, it's awesome. And me and Tom actually live together, and we ask each other for autographs when we get home in the afternoon.
Just when you get lonely.
We support each other, yeah.
Tom, can I have your autograph tonight when we get home?
Oh, thanks, dude. I feel really great now.
Now, when does the big money start rolling in? Doesn't it take a really long time, and you got to pay so much stuff back?
Yeah, they told us in a couple of years we could come in, have a little meeting, talk about when the big money's coming in.
They're lying to you, Tony.
Yeah. But we're on tour, we're busy.
Have you gotten and I'm in no way asking for any kind of specifics, but have you gotten a check where you've said, this is so cool that I can go out and buy X, the thing that I wanted, or I can go to the place that I wanted? Has that happened yet?
My own place, for example, Gwen.
Right. I am definitely going to buy my own place. Adrian already did. Adrian bought a house in Long Beach. was trying to be like the Sublime guys.
I don't mess around, man.
That's right.
Hey, by the way, the reason you're not hearing much from Adrian, 100 chocolate chip cookies in a row. Just forklift, right in, right out. Amazing.
I'm sorry I didn't save any for you guys.
No problem.
Yeah, we're talking. We're trying to work here. But have you been able to do that, Tom? Have you been able to do that, Tony?
Yeah, I used to eat a lot at Del Taco. Now I'm going to El Torito.
Oh,
so that
yeah.
gives
That's a
you any
step up.
indication.
It's a giant step. Good work. Tony?
For me, I'm trying to keep everything the same. Still doing the yard, still going to Del Taco every day. Works burrito, no rice.
That's so cool.
Well, this Christmas was fun, though, I think. I bought my dad a 12-string guitar. I actually had this friend that he had this prototype Yamaha guitar, acoustic guitar, and like about, I don't know, 9 years ago, this guy came over and played it with a quarter and like scratched it all up, a friend of mine. So I went out and got him this guitar, and he was pretty much in shock when I gave it to him for Christmas. Yeah. I was
That's
like,
cool.
see, I made up for that mistake.
You're still making up for mistakes. You're 27.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it certainly couldn't happen to nicer people.
Tell us the story again, because I'm fascinated by it, because this is totally what I would do. About you calling the request lines and requesting your own song.
Yeah, all of us did it. All the time. Of course, But
is that just for when I'm Just a Girl was starting, or?
Yeah, when Just a Girl.
For all of them, right up until now with Don't Speak.
I felt like it was my responsibility.
Did you?
Well, it worked out. Well, you guys.
I still call in requests.
And I'm afraid that's all we have time for this evening. Thanks to the members of No Doubt for the interesting insights into the workings of their band. And don't forget to join me, Max Asanovich, for another edition of Late Night Interview, same place.